The following is a production of White Lightning Entertainment. This is Burning Rubber Radio.
Blaney is going to get the second stage win of 2024 here. Through 3 and 4 for the final time in stage 2 for Kyle Larson. This is going to be his 8th stage win already this year. He leads the field in stage wins. Big contact, the 5 into the wall, and around he goes. Got collected with the 11, and the caution comes back out. He's shown speed, he's shown dominance at other racetracks, and now he's showing that he can get to victory lane at Iowa Speedway. He's the first Cup winner. Ryan Blaney wins in Iowa.
Awesome, man. Awesome job, guys. Way to stick with it all night, man.
Burning Rubber Radio is brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching. It's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. Now from the White Lightning Entertainment Studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here's your host, Andy DeLay.
Hey, everybody, it's that time again. I'm Andy DeLay, and it's Burning Rubber Radio time, baby. Guess what? It's the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. And, of course, I'm here along with the crew. John Dix, the NASCAR chef, welcome back after last week. You were just here for a few minutes. I was glad to have you back for the whole show this week, buddy.
Glad to be back,
well,
Andy.
See, Andy, that's what happens when you green goo him out of the studio. You got to stop that.
Yeah. What do you mean, hit him with ectoplasm or something?
No, little foggy action.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, yeah, all right. And of course, Wayne Owens back there with his smart aleckness. And, oh, my gosh, guys, another great weekend of racing. The Iowa Corn 350 is in the books with a brand new winner we'll talk about here in a few minutes. And, of course, guys, we have one heck of a fast guest.
Oh, yeah.
And Antron Brown this week.
Man, I am looking forward to Antron Brown. I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, NHRA, it's always been close to my heart. Actually, it's a little bit higher up in the tier rankings in the last, 5 or 10 years than NASCAR has been. But mostly because it's a true adrenaline rush. Like NASCAR is an adrenaline rush in its own right, but the NHRA, watching those cars literally zoom by you doing 300 plus miles an hour in the span of 4 seconds. Yeah, that's something you can't top.
And don't forget, guys, we're going to talk about the 24 hours of Le Mans later on.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
That's true. And all kinds of great stuff for that stuff. There's folks getting new rides and new networks
deals.
carrying certain stuff. I mean, I don't want to spoil it all, right, Wayne?
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it too early on anyway. We're going to definitely go into all of that during news of the week here coming up in just a short amount of time. But in the meantime, though, again, definitely, folks, make sure you're tuning in a little bit later in the show for Antron Brown. AB Motorsports, he runs his own team, so that's even cooler. Same thing like with Ron Capps Racing. And that's one thing I've noticed more and more, too, with the NHRA, Andy, is that teams are able to be more solo run than they are the larger group base, except for teams like JFR, where it's literally a family type business at that point.
Yeah, there's privateers all over NHRA, and
Right.
I guess we've heard stuff like Stuart Haas Racing. Is that what they're called in
It's
drag racing?
No, it's just Tony Stewart Racing, so TSR.
Yeah.
TSR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see where they extended with Dodge there, Chef. You put that up on our Facebook page. And everyone, please head over to the Burning Rubber Radio Facebook page and follow us, please. And also you can check there all week long because John and I kind of run that page and keep everything up there. But please go over there and give us a like and subscribe. Please. Also our YouTube page, if you want to see, if you're hearing us out there, listening to us, of course, on WTHU, our folks up in Thurmont, Maryland, and everywhere else that you hear us audio-wise, please head over to Facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio and give us a like, and you can see us on YouTube. So you can actually see me giving Wayne the Kentucky Howdy.
Oh, you mean this?
Oh, it's good to be
But
back.
yeah, we're already starting off spicy this this week. I love it. And but yeah, so YouTube, Facebook, Rumble.com, search for Burning Rubber Radio over there. And again, folks, we're still working on Twitter and Instagram, and we've also got our TikTok page over at tiktok.com/Burning Rubber Radio, or just search for BRR. Either one will get you to the same spot as long as you look for the logo. And then real quickly here, too, we got to talk about our sponsors, too, Andy. We got to talk about Drive Refine. Make sure you go over to driverefine.com and get signed up today. Work with Joey and Austin Terrio, which actually, and you know what? I'm going to say this, too, real quick. Congratulations goes out to Austin Terrio for winning the primary for his state's congressional election.
Yeah, John talked to him, didn't you, John?
Yeah, I talked to him, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and he apologized for not, getting back with us that much because he said he's been really concentrating on that. But
Imagine that.
I told him, I said, good for you, buddy, because,
Right.
if you guys don't know Austin's a nice guy. Wayne and I got to hang out with him at Hickory a while back, and I was happy for him. I didn't even know he was running, but he won his primary. So
I had heard something about it late last year when I talked to him for a little bit. He was telling me about it. So again, major congratulations to Austin Terrio for winning his primary. And so, folks, if you're in his state up there in Maine, if you like his platform, go vote for him in November. Just saying. And
also like us too.
Yeah, exactly.
Facebook.
Oh my God, Andy. Oh, good Lord. Okay, well, back to the point at hand here with Drive Refine. Make sure you go sign up at driverefine.com today. Work with Joey, and if you get a chance, with Austin from time to time. And remember, folks, it's not just driver coaching, it's Drive Refine. And there's that delay once again. I love it.
That's me.
Jesus. And then, of course, the folks over at MyPillow, go over to mypillow.com/BRR and use the code BRR at checkout to get your order shipped for free. I don't know why.
it'll be sent free, guys.
Yeah.
It'll be sent to you without any cost, right?
Yep. Well, I mean, they still got to pay for the items, but beyond that.
And as Wayne says, they'll send you your shit for free.
Oh, my God. I can't with you this morning. Not yet. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Well, with that said here, folks, we're going to step aside real fast, take a quick forward fuel, and when we come back, we're going to have news of the week for you, including some stuff with the Cup Series and some words about IndyCar.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on Instagram at Instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber. Producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay. And
Hey.
good Lord, Andy, I swear, after having that MyPillow order shipped for free.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Finally, you said it right.
No, I've said it right the whole time. You're the one that seems to like to think that I'm saying something else when I'm clearly not. But
Wayne, Wayne spent his $25 at Pillow. my pillow.
I mean, hey, you know what? I had $25 to spare. I couldn't help but buy something for my pillow. So, which actually, and you know what? Speaking of shipping or sending it here, we gotta talk about the NASCAR Cup Series from this past weekend and
Heck yeah.
the debut at Iowa Speedway. Kyle Larson gets on the pole, wrecks out during the race, and a literal 2-tire call made it where Ryan Blaney got himself the debut victory at Iowa Speedway. But now, while
it wasn't given to him at all, brother. He was the 24. Byron was breathing down his neck there at the end of the race. But I do want to make a point. Kyle Larson had the car to beat.
Yep.
But Kyle Larson beat himself. He tried to force a 3-way move there. Yeah. And I don't know what he was thinking, man. And of course, Suarez got up into him. He got into Hamlin, who was having a crap day anyway. And bam, that was the end of the end of the number 5 car for the day.
And that wasn't the
Larson
only car that
is
Larson
awesome.
wrecked.
What?
That wasn't the only car that Larson sadly had go kaboom on him this past weekend either. He was also running the Knoxville Nationals, and his sprint car literally, while leading the race with, I think, what was it, like 2 to go, all of a sudden just out of nowhere the engine goes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a good weekend for Larson, but he did get the pole. He did lead 2 stages of the race, so he didn't do bad.
No.
Yeah, but man, when he forced that 3-wide move with the car he had, I was thinking, why?
Yep.
Yeah, most definitely. And with all the hullabaloo from this past weekend at Iowa Speedway, that also gives us a brand new points leader in one Chase Elliott. So so that definitely shakes the point standings up a whole lot. And I don't know, Andy. I'm starting to feel like the likelihood of John DeRudris getting a good pick in here of late has been, well, like Martin Truex Jr., rather snake bit, because he picked MTJ to win this past weekend, and MTJ got slapped with a penalty during the race, and that pretty much ended his whole thing. So John DeRudris now 2-3 when it comes to picks.
JGR, what?
I was going to say, we need to come up with a new slogan or a new term. I think Kyle Larson pulled a Bubba Wallace when he made that move.
Yeah, he did. I'd say that was. Hey, listen, you're going to win them, you're going to lose them. Well, that lost them. But going back to what I was saying, JGR itself this whole weekend was snake bit.
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr. He said it best, I think, as far as the handling of the race cars. He says he was out there. He goes, I think they put the tires on backwards. So, that Denny Hamlin couldn't get the car to turn. Even guys like that have been really good lately. Brad Keselowski, he couldn't get the rear end to hook up. He says chattering across the racetrack. These guys just went out there like, everyone kind of like a monkey fucking a football.
Oh my God.
It was just horrible.
Well, I think, Andy, they were scared because of the tire problem they had before the race started when they were saying they're only going to last 20 laps.
Yeah.
I think it kind of scared everybody.
Yeah.
And they were just scared to push their cars.
Yep.
Well, the ones that did paid the price. There was a bunch of them that lost right front, like Chastain and good Lord, a lot of other guys. The number 7 was in the wall with the right front down. So, yeah, they were courting. But as the night went on, they were cording out. The tires were showing cords later and later and later in the run because the track was cooling down.
Right.
Most definitely. And then, speaking of JGR and MTJ and everything like that, we also got to bring up the big news that was announced this past Friday, and that being that Martin Truex Jr. has officially announced that at the end of the 2024 season, he's retiring.
Yeah, everyone kind of figured that was what he was going to say. After this season that he's had of almost an ouches, I would say the hell with this too.
Yep.
Well, he made a comment this morning that he was tired of not being able to do what he wants when he wants,
and that being
he's
Monday
retiring.
morning.
So I think there's kind of behind the scenes stuff going on that kind of just got him, excuse my language, pissed off.
Yeah.
And he's out of there. So it is what it is.
No, and you know what? I mean, more power to MTJ at that point too, because his retirement. I mean, he's done very well for himself in the Cup Series. He's a champion. He's had plenty of wins throughout his career. And at this point, retirement gives him a couple of different options. It gives him a chance to go work with his brother Ryan a little bit. It gives him a chance to, if he wants to, maybe look at doing some lower tier series and just having a little bit of fun in the, one-off type deal every now and again. There's so many possibilities now for MTJ at the end of the 2024 season that I don't think we're done hearing about him yet.
Oh, no.
But
not.
we'll just have to see where he could potentially land after retirement from the Cup Series.
Yeah, he's made enough, Jack. He can do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, his bank account isn't going to suffer.
No, not at all. Not in the slightest.
God.
But I'll tell you what, folks, with that said here, though, we do need to step aside and take that next forward fuel of the show for the week here. But when we come back, folks, again, an interview I am looking forward to because, amongst the three of us, I'm kind of like the NHRA guy of the group. I think I'm slowly working Andy into being interested more and more into NHRA.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've been to the Gator Nationals before, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. But coming up next after the break, we have got multi-time Top Fuel champion Antron Brown coming on with us. And again, I am seriously looking forward to this, folks. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after this with Antron Brown.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay. And Andy, I'll tell you what, my man, this is an interview that I have been looking forward to for weeks, ever since John said he was coming on the show. And I think it's time we get into it. What do you think?
Yeah, buddy, let's bring Antron Brown in. Hey, Antron, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. What's going on, fellas?
Oh, not a whole lot, my man. So, first things first, I was telling the guys about this too, and I noticed that it's a big thing when it comes to the NHRA that there are a lot of private teams as compared to NASCAR and things like that. So, to give a very good proper introduction, folks, this is 3-time Top Fuel champion, team owner, just all-around badass Top Fuel racer, Antron Brown. And so, getting into it here, Antron, first and foremost, how does it feel being a team owner in the industry like the NHRA?
Man, I tell you, it was always a dream for me to do that. For one, growing up around the sport and always just looking at the sport, and to get to that level to where you get to make some decisions, and the main thing is just aligning all the right people together. Our sport's definitely a people type business where everybody has access to all the parts. There's no more secret sauce and race parts and all this stuff no more. Everything kind of spec, kind of like how NASCAR went, where it's all about how you put the combination together. So to own a business now in NHRA, it's at a really, really good time of the sport where the sport is really taking off. From the TV standpoint, fans always had the excitement because our sports is an all-access sport. You know what I mean? We're one of the few sports that allow the fans into the locker room.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So when they come out and you do that, we always had that niche where you come out, you're a part of it, the fans get to push you on through every round, and now our TV's taken off to another level. And when you're looking at all that stuff, man, it's a really cool place to be right now, because you're on this rocket ship that's about to take us to outer space. So with that being said, it's a really, really cool time to be a part of it, without a doubt.
Well, and you bring up a very valid point right there, talking about, fan involvement with everything in the NHRA versus things like NASCAR. Because, like with NASCAR, you have to go in and you have to either get a hot pass or you have to go get a VIP or something like that to really kind of get in near the garage area to talk about things. But when it comes to the NHRA, the minute you buy that standard ticket, you're able to walk down pit road and you're able to hang out in the garage area with the drivers like yourself and John Force and, and Tony Schumacher and everybody like that. Now, granted, obviously, of course, you're not going to really see all the ins and outs because most of that is done right there on the other side of the hauler, but it gives fans a level of involvement that I feel actually garners more attention towards the NHRA than it does any other form of motorsports.
Mm-hmm. It does. And the thing about it is, what made it so unique for me, because there's a backstory reason why I brought that up too, is that when I was a kid growing up in the sport, my dad took me to, I grew up in the sportsman ranch with my dad and uncle.
Oh, very
They
cool.
were sportsmen. So I was at the track since before I was even, when I was a baby. My mom and all of them took us there, and we were like Acco, Englishtown, New Jersey, Maple Grove, Cecil County, Buck Creek, Maryland. That was all our home stomping grounds that we went to. And when I was 10, my dad brought me to my first national event, because then he figures I knew what's going on. I'm helping out with the race car. And I went to the Summer Nationals, Englishtown, New Jersey, 1986.
Oh, wow.
And when I went there, I saw Big Daddy. That's when Big Daddy Darn Carlos flipped over. Remember, yesterday.
Yep.
And he got out the car. The car flipped over and started going backwards down the racetrack. He stopped the car, got out. Everybody gave him a standing ovation. And later on that year, he went on to win. And I remember that like yesterday. He won the championship day.
Yep.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, man, this is insane. This is crazy. And that was my first time seeing a nitro car in person. I saw jet cars before. Jet cars back in the day was going just as fast as nitro cars, are a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you how long ago it was. And I remember seeing Kenny Bernstein break the first 300-mile-an-hour run in Gainesville, Florida on TV. And I remember all these things, and it's like, man, this is what I want to do. And when I was a kid and I got to go into the pit, and I got to go up there and see Big Daddy's car, go up and touch it and see it, that's when it changed my whole perspective of the sport, where I was able to be around it, and I saw it, touched it, smelled it, and I envisioned myself saying, I could be here one day.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the All Access Pass is for me. And I've never stopped. And that's where I'm at today.
The all access stuff is great. I agree with you. And what you said is very true, Antron, about the sports. NHRA is taking off right now in popularity. Let me ask you this, me being a roundy round NASCAR guy, has Tony Stewart coming over with his team brought any fans? Has it increased where the NHRA is going with the addition of his fans?
Well, this is the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Well, I think it brought over with Tony, it brought over more awareness everywhere. Like, hey, here is a guy that is multifaceted in so many different racing disciplines, from sprint cars, from midgets to late models to NASCAR to IndyCar. And Tony is like all in, brother. He is all in.
Yeah.
He was like, man, if I knew this was like this back in the day, because he just always back in the day, he goes, man, those cars are crazy. I want to do it. But once he got in and started driving it, he got hooked like a big mouth bass. Like I remember back in the day when he had Pro Bass Shop. He needs Pro Bass Shop on his car now, because he is hooked like a big mouth bass. You know what I mean? So, I laugh at it all the time. And what it's done is our sport shares a lot of the same interests. Like when we go out to Vegas, I went out to Vegas and I was at the NASCAR race, or I go down to Charlotte. I was at the Coca-Cola 600, and we did burnouts on pit road. All those fans come to the race. We're in NHRA drag racing shirts. Like they go back and forth. We share a lot of the same fan base.
Yep.
Like to do it yourselfers, everything like that. So when you see that, it was just kind of marrying it up. And Tony's coming over to our sport where he's just like got a whole new walk of life. Like people see him like they go, Tony, man, you look younger. Well, Tony got in that 330-mile-an-hour dragster. When you take off those G's, keep that face stretched back. It's like a facelift, brother. So what it does is keep you young and ready to go. And I'm seeing him. I'm like, he's loving it. The fans are coming out and loving it. And I think what it's doing is bringing other fans and other partners and sponsors.
Yep.
And seeing how we're able to engage and have the midway. We have the hospitality or the pit side experience field right next to our race cars where they're able to interact, do B2B, doing business stuff, where other forms of sports and motorsports don't have that.
Nope.
And they're being very engaged, and the price point is there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that big time.
When and when you're looking at that, you can go up and watch the race. Then you come back in the pits and see what they're doing in the pits, how they're tearing the cars down, putting it back together, interacting on the midway, coming to the fan hospitality areas. Is our sport has so much to offer.
It really
and
does.
And Tony sees it, and the partners see it, and it's like it's an awakening that's happening. It was always been there. We've just been the best kept secret for too long.
Oh, yeah. No,
I agree.
100% would agree with you there. And, one of the other things, too, because like I was telling Andy and John is because I'm kind of like the NHRA guy amongst the three of us here. And, the handful of times that I've been able to attend NHRA events myself, the things like the smell of the nitromethane and everything like that is just... I don't know, like again, compared to the roundy rounds in NASCAR, the smell of the nitromethane just it feels
knock
like
your ass out is what it do.
No, honestly, I don't know what it is. Like it flips that switch in the brain. It's just like, yeah, this is where I want to be. Kind of like what you were saying earlier, Antron, when you got your first experience at 10 years old. But moving in on into another topic here, and one thing we can talk about here, because again, you're a multi-time champion in Top Fuel, and 75 wins at this point after winning most recently at the Route 66 Nationals out in Joliet, and just very recently here at Thunder Valley, this was one of the very few final rounds that you've missed at Thunder Valley in your entire career. But yet, even then, that win at Thunder Valley still seems to elude you a little bit too. Going into, like, say, next season and moving forward here, what do you think you might be able to change to hopefully, get yourself into a final round at Bristol?
Man, we were there last year. We just missed it this year. This year, we qualified well, and we just got okey doke, man. We raced Allen with Doug Coletta, and they qualified very, very bad, uncharacteristic. They always qualify in the top 5 like we do.
I was going to say, because he was like 12th or 13th this time, wasn't he?
He qualified 14th.
Oh, wow.
I qualified for 3, and we raced them, and the track was the best track that we had all weekend, first round elimination. And what we did was we just went off our qualifying run and tuned it up a little bit and saying, we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot because they ain't making down a racetrack one lap all weekend.
Right.
And we just got shot in the foot where we knew the track could probably run like a low 70. And we're like, all right, we're just going to tune it up. We ain't going to go out here and smoke the tires and do something stupid. We just picked it up, and we ran a representable run. We went out there, ran a 78. We were like the 4th quickest of the first session, and they dropped low ET on us and ran a 72. And
wow.
That's what it was told, and they knew what they had to do to get the job done, and they conquered it. And the next lap, the track got warmer, and nobody ran faster than the 80s or 78, so we ran exactly what we thought we should run. It's one of those deals, brother. We got bamboozled, but going in, we're like, you got to be kidding me. and we just want to do the smart thing. We try to run with some strategy, and when you run like that, you got to kind of take the strategy out the window, just run with the track and hold it and throw down. That's what we should have did. Should have, would have, could have. But we've done that in the past, and we end up smoking the tires, and then they go down the track running like what we ran, and we look at ourselves. We just did we did when we should have zagged, brother. That's all it was. So.
Oh yeah.
So for next year, we just want to do what we did. We want to qualify well, and take it from there, brother, and just try to make the right moves on race day. And, and that's the problem about our sport. It's so competitive right now. It's so competitive where you have stuff like that happening. And we come back next year, we're just going to have to get medieval on everybody. Try to drop low. But then smoke the tires. Then you might smoke the tires and kick yourself in the butt end and go, oh, we have to put out racetrack.
And by the way, folks, we're talking to multi-time NHRA champion Antron Brown here. And I love that saying too, Antron, because it fits so perfectly with the drag racing world. Kick the tires and light the fires, and that's exactly what all the different divisions in the NHRA do, but Top Fuel especially. And one has to ask too, and this is something that has been on my mind for quite a few years when it comes to the world of Top Fuel, because year over year, we consistently see the cars getting much, much faster, but yet still holding the same general weight in the body and the motor and everything like that. In fact, what was it, this year or last, if I remember correctly, it was Brittany Force who was setting a record at 340 miles an hour in one of those race cars. Obviously the safety aspect is a big thing when it comes to the NHRA, especially because of speeds that high. So for somebody like yourself, what would you say to somebody who may want to get into the world of drag racing to be prepared for, from not only a safety aspect, but a performance aspect?
Man, well, the thing about it is that everything that we do it in stride at the end of the day. So from a safety aspect, our sport has done well on implementing different rules and safety rules in what we do in our cars right now. And I'm telling you right now, the enclosed driver compartment cars that we have right now, they're definitely a step above, man. Definitely with even IndyCar, when they were having their incidents, they came over and looked at our sport on how we had our enclosed driver compartments on our cars to try to implement it on theirs. So that's the cool part about our sport, that we stay involved. We always have leading edge technology from Toyota, especially on our team, helping us with all the different finite announcement testing that they do on our stuff for us, and help us with so much engineering and structural standpoint stuff, and not just make our cars go faster, but to keep them safer. And then also from people when they get in is that we have all these different graphical processes in our A fuel ranks. Like Tony Stewart came in our sport. If you look, he really brought a lot of popularity to our A fuel. He raced A fuel for 2 years. His class underneath alcohol dragster, which is A fuel or alcohol dragsters. There's two different type of vehicle setups you can race in that class. But it's the understudy class that made it very popular, where you're seeing a lot more people racing that category. And you can see, like, our upcoming drivers, like my son Anson, is going to be getting his license A fuel car this year.
Wow.
We like, you know what I mean? We bought Angel, like my old pro stock motorcycle teammate. She's been A fuel. She dabbled in it last year and raced 3 runs, and then she's racing a full season this year, and probably a season next year in that deal, and to bring them up among the ranks to go fuel racing. So that's been our game plan, is to grow the sport, and you see so many other people get into that rank doing that. And you're seeing a lot of attention getting drawn to it. The class is very, very exciting. Man, you're talking about they're going 280 miles an hour right now. So, and got all the same mechanics that we do in a fuel car, or even in a fun car. So I think what you're seeing right now is that's the nature of the beast of bringing people in and growing them into our sport and where they're getting to. And it's going to definitely make our sport grow leaps and bounds.
100%. And I'm glad you brought that up with your son Anson too, because that was actually going to be one of the next points I was going to get to. Is one thing I noticed too, again, talking about the NHRA, is it's very family oriented. So, like case in point, you've got John Forrest Racing, where he's got his daughters that are involved. He's got his son-in-law that gets involved in it, and now you've got your son getting involved in it, and it's the coolest thing, getting to see kind of like that generational, down the line kind of thing with the NHRA, because not only do you get involved in something like that where you can get your license, but a big difference as compared to, again, other forms of motorsport, is that your family is allowed to be there on the starting line with you when you get ready to take off for your run.
Well, absolutely. As long as everybody's at the right age, 18 or older, and they're part of your team waivers, because we have like limited amount of people, of course, for safety. You know what I mean? But it's not like where everybody could stand there. But at the end of the day, they're able to see it, and they have sponsor viewing areas on the side there where you get up close and personal and see how all these teams operate. And when you see people do that, you understand what's going on. The access in our sport, it puts you in a position where you see how things operate, and then you can see how you can create opportunity for yourself to get there. Like for us, I give you an example. We do a very unique internship program with Western Technical College out of El Paso, Texas. And they give bachelor degrees and everything else, and we partner with them because they have a high-performance program, but they have all the other programs and CDL programs, get your license and everything else. So it's kind of like a starter course for a crew guy, where it gives them they could do internship programs on our race teams, from my race team, Bob Tasker race team, to Ron Capps race team, to all these other race teams that are out there. And then when they're out there, they understand what's going on. And we've got a lot of people on our team that were graduates of Western Tech. Like, they graduated from Western Tech and they're on our team. And that's a very unique deal, because you can't find crew guys. Like, you just don't go out there and say, hey, man, you got to be a mechanic and you got to do this, do that, and then you go to race team. For us, you kind of have to build them. You want somebody that's a really good general mechanic, but you want to be able to have somebody that you can mold and train and teach them the craft that you want them to do on a race car. And you can't teach people want to, and you can't teach people passion, and you can't teach them the desire to do something at a high level. And once you see that, that's a diamond in the rough, and you got to jump on that opportunity, and then they're the people that you can train.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we want out there.
Absolutely. Very
much so. And then, one final point that we'll get ready to touch on here too. You brought up Ron Capps too, because we had Ron on the show a handful of years ago, and one of the many things that he was involved in, especially during the pandemic, was iRacing. Simulation racing is something we talk about every so often here on the show. So I have to ask, have you yourself gotten involved in the world of iRacing yet, like Ron has?
Man, I haven't. I have not. When we were in COVID, I was really close to getting a rig and getting it all set up and everything else like that. And my problem is I just got to slow down. And, I'm everywhere, brother. I never stop traveling. Like, my off weekends, I'm with my son Anson racing somewhere. My daughter's racing with us now, too. So, cool. And my youngest son, he races juniors. Like, he races juniors a little bit. Right. But I'm never home. Like, I'm always constantly on the go. So for me to sit down and sit idle, that's pretty hard.
Yeah. No, I trust me. I understand that one completely. I myself am out there working all day, every day as well too. Like, home time is not something that's native to my brain. So, but with all that said here, again, folks, we're talking with NHRA multi-time Top Fuel Champion Antron Brown. And Antron, we have had an absolute blast having you on the show. And one thing we love to do with all of our NHRA folks especially is have you on the show multiple times throughout the year, or even like a once-a-year type of check-in sort of thing, and just keep seeing how you're doing. So we would like to extend that invitation to you as well, my friend.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yes.
absolutely, man. I'm wide open, brother. I love being on you guys' show. You guys do a really good job and really bring light to everything that's out there.
Fantastic.
Well, there's something you don't know about yet, Antron.
I'm glad you brought that up, Andy. I'm glad.
You're talking about going fast. There is all the drivers. I don't care if you're NASCAR, NHRA, John Ford's done it, Ron Cat, everyone's done this. Is that Kenny Wallace? You know him. He's that crazy guy in NASCAR. He grabbed the mic out of my hand way back in 2008 when I was at Kentucky Speedway, and I was telling him I was looking for a tagline for our new show back then, and he says, "Well, it's burning rubber, baby," and he shouted it at the top of his lungs. Now, all of our guests do that, and here's the best thing for you. You don't know this. This will get you 2/10.
Well, okay. Well, from a drag racing perspective, let's say we'll get him past. Let's say we'll get him past second round elims and get him into a final round. And God knows, with New Hampshire coming up this weekend, I think Antron's going to need it. So Antron, whenever you're ready, just shout it at the top of your lungs, "Burning rubber, baby!"
All right, y'all ready?
Go for it, buddy.
This is Antron Brown, and you are burning rubber, baby.
Yeah.
That's it. He's there. He's going to take it.
Yep.
The Wally this week. Isn't that what you call it, Wayne?
Yep. He's going to get himself a Wally this weekend at New England. And with that said here, folks, we are going to step aside. We're going to take our next forward fuel. And when we come back, that grill is fired up. Hey, Antron, you like good food, right?
Oh, I love good food.
Well,
I am a food connoisseur, brother.
Well, you'll have to hang around because the NASCAR chef John Dix is coming up next in the weekly recipe.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope. And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
The grill is fired up, and the chef has something good cooking.
Oh, you're cooking, Frankie!
It's the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wayne, Andrew DeLay, and the NASCAR chef, John Dix. And Andy, what are you waving in the camera for? I mean, I don't.
All the folks out there are watching us and everything. I wanted to say, hey, Wayne.
What's up?
Wayne.
What's up?
Look at the monitor. Are you see folks out there? If you're watching, I love Wayne.
I love you too.
You have to watch this stuff, folks, to see all of the sign language going on.
They're both telling each other they're number one, but anyway.
No, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to take a line from one of my favorite shows because, or one of my favorite podcasts that I watch, because this guy literally has the little moldable hands and stuff that he sits on the desk, and he can literally sit there and four-bird you.
Oh, okay.
So
we got to start off the poor NASCAR chef's piece with all of this.
We do this every week.
Stuff.
We do this every week.
What else is new?
And NASCAR chef John Dix, this weekend you have something of the vegetation variety, don't you, my friend?
Yeah, we do, guys. Right now everybody's growing cucumbers and tomatoes in their yard, so they got plenty of them. And we're going to do a kind of a light side dish. It's called marinated vegetables.
All right.
Gang, we're going to start with 1 cup of water, about a half or quarter cup of distilled vinegar, whatever you like. I prefer the little bit of vinegar. About a quarter cup of vegetable oil. A quarter cup of sugar, which is optional. I don't care for the sugar in there, but some people like to cut down the vinegar a little bit. And 2 tablespoons of salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. We're going to get 3 cucumbers and 3 tomatoes. You want to peel the cucumbers and slice them thin. And then tomatoes, you want to cut them in chunks. Then you're going to take an onion and cut it nice and thin. Now, guys, in a bowl, you want to add all the ingredients, mix them well, make sure all the vegetables are coated real good with the oil and the seasoning. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap and refrigerate it overnight. Now you can do it. You can refrigerate it a couple hours if you're in a hurry, but I like to do it overnight. And guys, this is a very light and tasty side dish, or just a little snack for a summer afternoon.
Okay, well, and
good stuff. It's like something my mama make. Her Italian dish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then of course too, with temperatures heating up, obviously the best thing to do right now is, eat a little bit lighter so that obviously you don't get sick. But that's just a little bit of friendly advice from your friends at Burning Rubber Radio.
Friendly advice, heck, you don't take your own advice, and that is plain to see.
Lord.
Speechless.
No, folks, if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, you know why I was just speechless for a second there. But
anyway, John, that sounds good, man. That's good, light.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, good recipe. And guys, listen, if you have any ideas or any recipes you want to fire them to me, you can reach me out at john@brrtv.net. That's john@brrtv.net. And, give me some comments on some recipes, or send me out your recipe and we'll give you a shout out.
Yep, most definitely. Yeah, so some good stuff there all the way around here from the NASCAR chef John Dix. And by the way, for everybody involved here, take a good look at the full screen version, the marinated vegetables for this week.
You can see that on YouTube if you're listening on the radio.
Yep, if you're on any one of our radio affiliates, head over to youtube.com or rumble.com, search for Burning Rubber Radio, and you can find this recipe. It's about the 45-minute mark in this week's show. So, it might be a little bit earlier. I'd have to timestamp it for accuracy, but I'm going to give you a rough idea of when to go look for it. So, either which way here, folks. Marinated vegetables, the recipe for the week here with the NASCAR chef John Dix. And with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that Final Four in fuel. And when we come back, we've got some USAC news, a little bit of NHRA prep for the New England Nationals this weekend coming up. AMA Supercross was back at it again, as well as American Flat Track, Andy. So, we got a little bit of bike action to talk about and all that when we come back.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on X at twitter.com/BRR_radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber. Producer Wayne, Andy DeLay, and the NASCAR chef John Dix on the cannon string this week.
Every week, Wayne, every week, bro.
Well, I was trying to give you a little more credit than that there, John. But either which way here, folks, down to the last segment of the show once again in the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. And Andy, I'll tell you what, just sitting back and reminiscing during the break, from a little bit ago with that interview with Antron Brown, I would by far say next to John Force and Ron Capps, one of the best interviews we've had on this show.
Excellent. Hey, Antron Brown, super cool guy, super awesome people. Yep. Glad that, and he actually enjoyed being on Burning Rubber Radio. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, right. And but you know what? That seems to be a common theme with everybody that we get. Everybody enjoys coming on the show because it gives them a little bit of a chance to be more of their true personality rather than what people see on the TV all the time.
And non-professional, is that what you're saying, Wayne?
They can be as unprofessional as they want because we definitely are the poster boys for that.
Yep, exactly. and people wonder why NASCAR calls us fanboys.
Oh, yeah. NASCAR's thrown us out of more than one track. So.
But either which way here, moving on, we got to get into some final news of the week before we get our picks in for New Hampshire this weekend. And first things first, got to go over to the world of USAC and Logan Seavey this past weekend, Andy. And now I've never heard of this town, so this is new to me, but Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Logan Seavey gets a bare nip win by, again, this is how close the USACs have been getting lately, 0.043 seconds this past weekend.
That's very close.
Those sprint cars, man, they do not mess around when it comes to getting the job done. And of course, Kyle Larson knows all about that too, since he's raced in sprints and midgets and pretty much just about every. You know what? Actually, come to think of it, that is the only discipline that Kyle Larson has not yet touched, and that's drag racing.
Yeah, I saw someone banging him for that on a post we had. I put up there, is he a GOAT candidate on Facebook? And someone's like, oh, no, he hasn't drag raced yet. Get the hell out of here, folks.
He's still a GOAT regardless.
Yes.
And just because he hasn't touched the NHRA yet doesn't mean that he possibly won't. So that's something to obviously keep the eye on as well here too. It is time now where we get ourselves into picks coming up for New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend here, and I gotta wonder, Andy. After Iowa, we're heading to a almost 1 mile racetrack in New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So thoughts leading into that for this weekend? Thoughts
or picks?
Well, both.
I'm gonna go with Willie B this weekend on the flat track, and of course New Hampshire, always fun to watch, flat and hardly any banking on the thing. So yeah, I'm going with William Byron.
Okay. All right. So Willie B for Andy DeLay here, and NASCAR chef John Dix. Who you got this week, brother?
I'm going with our buddy Chris Butcher.
Okay.
Good pick.
Yeah. Solid pick at least. And you know what? I'm gonna say it's gonna be a little redemption. I'm gonna go with MTJ.
Oh, all right. Yeah, he's usually pretty strong on those things.
So I got a feeling MTJ might just do something pretty spectacular this weekend. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But in the meantime here, you know who it's time that we go talk to, don't you, Andy?
Yeah, let's see what the motorsports enthusiast has to say about this.
Most definitely. It's time for the final lap. John DeRudris, take it away, my friend.
Welcome to the final lap with me, the motorsport enthusiast, and this week we're going to New Hampshire to see who can grab and get that coveted lobster this weekend. This past weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series was at Iowa for the first time, and what a great race that was. My pick of the week, Martin Truex Jr., though, he did not have a great race. Started all the way in the back, he made his way up to the low 20s, but then had a pit road speeding penalty that just trapped him a lap down. But one thing I did notice, though, is he was one of the fastest cars on the track, even though he had 40-lap older tires than everybody in front of him, and he made his way up into the top 20. But looking at New Hampshire, let's talk about what happened the last 2 years. It's been the Joe Gibbs feast. Joe Gibbs won in 2022 and 2023. You got Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr. winning both of those races. But another driver who has had success here, actually has the highest average finish at this track over the last 3 races, has been Brad Keselowski. He has an average finish of 5th, and he hasn't finished worse than 7th. Another driver that has been very good here has been Denny Hamlin, with an average finish of 7.7 in the last 3 races, and he hasn't finished worse than 10th. Look out for him to continue that Joe Gibbs trend. Another driver that's been very strong here is Kyle Larson. He has an average finish of 8th. He had a very strong run at Iowa. He arguably was the best car on the track, but obviously he got involved in that wreck. So, could he have a bounce back week and win this week? Possible. But there's one driver I'm looking at, and I typically don't do this. But with what I saw with the statistics and where I saw him racing this past weekend, I think he could get it done. He drives a Toyota, and he drives for Joe Gibbs. Over the last 2 races at this track, this driver has led 426 laps. That's an entire race. That's over an entire race. His lowest finish was 12th. He has an average starting position of 1.7 over the last 3 races. He has 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s. With an average finish of 5.7, I'm going with my pick, Martin Truex Jr. Again, I typically don't go back-to-back with drivers I think he is desperate for a win. I don't think he has to worry about that retirement news anymore because he already said it. I think MTJ is going to get another lobster this weekend to lock himself into the championship. Martin Truex Jr., let's go.
All right, Andy. He is 2-3 so far because MTJ didn't do so well at Iowa this past weekend. But, you know, I've got a feeling he's going to redeem himself coming up at New Hampshire. I mean, he's a Northeastern boy, so I got a feeling he stands a little bit better chance than most. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as long as they put the tires on the right way this weekend.
Yeah, right, exactly. Very, very much so. And but with that said here, folks, man, an hour's already gone by again. I say this every single week. An hour goes by so quickly when we're hanging out with everybody, whether it be on the radio, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Rumble, whether it be on wingding.tv, wherever you find Burning Rubber Radio, or just realistically, just Burning Rubber. Wherever you find Burning Rubber, we love having you guys when you listen to us. And then, of course, our social media, facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Instagram, the same thing, Burning Rubber Radio. Twitter is x.com/BRR_radio. Not Instagram, I already said Instagram. TikTok, search for BRR or TikTok.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Everywhere you can find us, folks. We'd love to hang out with you. We'd love to interact with you. We'd love to talk with you. But on that note here, for our guests this week, Antron Brown, Andy DeLay, and the NASCAR chef, John Dix, I'm producer Wayne. We love you guys. And until next week, burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of White Lightning Entertainment with studios in Statesville, North Carolina, and was brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching, it's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. This week's show was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio can be seen on Rumble, YouTube, or wingding.tv and heard on radio stations nationwide. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be the express written permission of White Lightning Entertainment.